Hello, I'm Lizzie.
And I'm Izzy, and we need help.
Each week we stumble through a new book, method, or concept that brings us one step closer to being our best self.
Yes, we make fun of ourselves.
And others.
But mostly just ourselves. So here's to not taking self-help quite so seriously.
So this is Gary Vaynerchuk's 12 and a half.
Yay!
Yay! I'm super excited to do this book because I have been wanting to do a Gary V book for a very long time. He is one of my, he doesn't know it, but he's one of my mentors.
Yeah.
Like I look up to him a lot. He's also like, you know, he just speaks to my soul on so many levels.
Like, I just have to say, I really appreciate you choosing this book because I had no idea who he was. I know he's like super popular in the US, but like he hasn't quite made it over to Poland in terms of the popularity. So it was like the first time I had heard of him when you mentioned him.
Yeah.
So I started listening to him, and the book is pretty awesome. Maciek and I were listening to it in the car, and Maciek's like, I like this guy. We should bring his like stuff over to Poland somehow. You know, like
we are.
Yeah. So it's very cool.
He is so revolutionary in the way that I definitely felt that if you don't follow him, please go on and follow his content. It's Gary V. He's amazing. But he really speaks to me on the level that I did not appreciate school. He hated school. I felt like it was snuffing out every bit of creativity. I felt like I was left behind. I was called the stupid kid because I didn't ever see the why behind getting to know the past when we're living in the now or even preparing for the future in a lot of ways. And not that you shouldn't know history, but like, I just felt like school was a creativity killer.
Yeah.
And he speaks a lot to that. And he speaks a lot. And he attributes it to his parents letting him be who he was. But like he was the D student. And if you follow him, you understand that like he's brilliant. He really is a smart guy. And he shits all over the American dream and the way it is. And that you have to go to university, you have to do this, you have to do that. And the best part about it is every time he is approached with like, should I quit school? Should I do this? I want to do what my parents say, this, that, and the other thing. He's like, are you on your parents' payroll in any way? And he's like, they're always like, well, yeah, they pay my rent. And they're like, until you're off their payroll, you have to do what they want, but get off their payroll.
Yeah.
Start paying for your own shit. And it really is, he's all about in the driver's seat and accountability. Yeah. And so my nieces who have often come to me with their mother pushing them towards something else. And I'm always like, but are you on her payroll? Because you're her employee, basically. Like get free and you can be free.
I love that approach. That's a really good way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really cool way of putting it. Yeah, this book was awesome. I mean, basically, so 12 and a half focuses on soft skills that leaders should focus on in business. Because a lot of the time, leaders focus on the hard skills because hard skills can be measured.
Stats.
Stats.
Hours.
But he said like soft skills can't really be measured yet. Although I loved what he said. He said, I'm sure there's like a six-year-old girl in Iowa who's someday going to figure out how to measure, the soft skills and, the KPIs of soft skills. So he's like, I can't wait for that. Yeah. But he's just basically talks, the 12 ingredients are these 12 soft skills that he's found to be of most importance or that he admires. And then the half, which I loved, is the one that we're not quite so good at and need to improve. That's the half. So that's cool.
Yeah. He's really got a great, for those of you who don't like how we talk on this podcast, you're probably not going to like his content either. So
well, it's
if you're
really funny because he's
afraid,
go ahead.
if you're afraid of the F-bomb, you might want to run. But did you hear him on this book? He said, I'm really trying not to use curse words on this book, but he couldn't help himself.
Yeah, he's like, okay, in case you're traveling with children, because I realize this is an audiobook, like, I'm not going to be swearing a lot. And then a couple chapters later, he's like, use the F-bomb. He goes, sorry, I said I wouldn't be swearing. So that was, like, so funny.
I know, because some things require the F-bomb.
Yeah. What I loved is that he would go off-piste a lot in this book. Like, he's reading the material of the book, and suddenly he stops and he's like, I got to talk about this. And he kind of goes off and explains something, and I loved that too. That was really cool.
This is one of these books that we do it occasionally, that you have to get on Audible, in my opinion. It's not as good in the paper form.
Yeah.
Because he gives you so many like real-time perspectives of, like, he just go off on some tangent. And the thing about him is he's so good at tapping into the flow of the moment. If you see in all of his content, he is tapped into the flow so much, and it inspires me to be more like that, because it's like he's unapologetically himself.
Yeah. Authenticity.
I mean, beyond. He's just so connected to his own flow. I love it.
Yeah.
And we all should try to be more like it.
So can you tell us a little bit more about Gary V?
His name is Gary Vaynerchuk, but he was born Gennady. He was born Gennady Vaynerchuk. He was born November 14th, 1975 in Belarusian. He was born in Russia. Let's just chill out.
It's okay. It's Belarus in that's how we say it in Poland.
Wait, how do you say it in that? That doesn't even resemble the word.
Belarus.
This is what drives me. Okay.
It's White Russia. It's
Oh.
Bela is white, Rus is Russia, so it's Belarus. Yeah.
Okay, I did not see the new year because of a White Russian. One time, or several White Russians, we'll just say. Yeah. So yeah, that White Russian can be dangerous. I wonder. So he was born in Russia. His family immigrated over here. He speaks about them almost daily, about their hard work and work ethic. He's known for his digital marketing, social media. He's a chairman of the New York-based communications company VaynerX, and the CEO of VaynerX subsidiary VaynerMedia, which he speaks about all the time. He's worth $160 million.
Yeah. Not bad. Not bad for
But
a
he's
Russian immigrant.
Yeah, not too shabs. How do they say shabby in Russian?
No idea. How do they say shabby in Polish? Well, not too bad would be nie tak źle. Nie tak źle. Nie tak źle. So
nie
I'm
tak
sure
źle.
it's similar in Russian because it's a similar language.
Is it a neighbor? Well, no, you're not neighbors. Are you neighbors?
Yeah, we're neighbors.
Yeah, you're neighbors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it those neighbors you try to avoid, or
Yeah, we're
is
like,
it
oh, it's them again.
Okay, don't make eye contact. I don't want to talk. Like, no. Yeah, call anybody except for them.
Don't go over there for a cup of white sugar.
No. You know what? Forget it.
Yeah.
But he's
Does he have
amazing.
any brothers or sisters?
That we're gonna have to afterbirth that. Did
We're
you
gonna
just need
afterbirth
something to
that.
afterbirth? He's
Yeah.
of Jewish descent.
Yep.
Wait a minute, I might know. I thought he had a sister, but I'm not sure.
We'll afterbirth
Look it up. It doesn't say it on Wikipedia. Or if it
Yeah.
does, he's just like me. He can't read emails, and he can't read long bodies of stuff. I love that. I love
Yeah.
when people are just like me.
Yeah.
It makes me feel so good.
Connected. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
He's
about
like-
that when he was sharing that. He's like, I can't read emails. I'm like, oh, Lizzie can't read emails either.
I know. Well, I don't know if it's a willingness issue or
It's
if
not.
like It's not. Okay, good.
It's not a willingness issue. It's like I can't do details either. If somebody sends me my accountant, I drive her nuts because she sends me these long emails with all this information. I don't read them, and she's like, "Did you get that last email about the tax changes?" And I'm like, "Yes, but I
Long
didn't read
short
it."
me.
So I just tell her put the most important thing in the first bullet point on top, and then
That's all I need to know.
yeah, that's to put the action that I need to take. Put that in the first sentence.
Yeah, me too. Don't
I don't need
text
the whole.
me.
I don't care about the explanation. Just tell me what I need to do.
Yeah.
So, this whole book is
But-
about. Oh, go ahead.
One more, like a couple more things about GV,
Mm-hmm.
my precious GV. He took over his parents' wine business and blew that up. And then I think he did that until he was in his late 30s or something. Like he really put in the time.
Yeah.
That might be a lie too. But he grew the business from 3 million a year to 60 million a year. I mean,
And he did it as a thank you to
his
for
parents.
all that they did for him. So, and
He
that
could
was
have
like
gone
his
out.
main thing. Yeah.
yeah.
And he calls the name of the company is Empathy Wines, which is one of the 12 soft skills, the 12 points. So empathy is one of them, and that's one of the most important things for him. And he even named that company Empathy Wines.
He's truly one. Yeah, I love him because he's so leather and lace, and I think that we all need to kind of dive deeper into leather and dive deeper into lace, and he's done both.
Yeah.
Like he's edgy and he's kind and he's soft, but he's strong. He's really cool like that.
Yeah.
But okay, I don't have anything else to say about him except for you're just gonna love him. So like, if you don't follow him, you have to follow him. But let's dive in because I think a lot of this, like we usually like to talk about what's going on in our life, but these things are what's going on in our life.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
So this book, it's all about the soft skills, the emotional intelligence, the 12 necessary emotional ingredients. So I'm going to read them off. We're not going to go over all of them because that would take like half a day, but here they are. Gratitude, self-awareness, accountability, optimism, empathy, kindness, tenacity, curiosity, patience, conviction, humility, and ambition. So those are the 12.
Those are the 12 dirty dozen, the dirty dozen.
The dirty dozen. So before we get into that, how do you think you're like emotionally intelligent? What do you think about your emotional intelligence?
I think I'm very emotionally intelligent.
Okay.
I just truly do believe that. I think they have a lot of room to improve. How about you?
Yeah, I think that's where it's so funny because my 1996, my high school graduation speech was about emotional intelligence. Like this lady came in, they had a guest speaker, and she came in and talked all about emotional intelligence, and everyone was like, "Huh?" 1996. She was like a pioneer at that time. I'm going to afterbirth that. I'm going to figure out who that was.
Yeah.
And she was talking about this book, which is called Emotional Intelligence, and I bought the book.
I've read
and
it. It's
it
good.
was, for me, I read it in 1996. It was a eureka moment because I friggin' hated school. Like you,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I was so bored. And this was something I can get on board with. Like, wait a second, I am emotionally smart. I'm
Yeah.
emotionally smart. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is great, So I really, appreciated that.
I think that's like over the years, the thing about me that I've fought so hard because like when we came into the workforce, just to be clear, like I was born in 77. When we came into the workforce, it was like, you need to be Glengarry Glen Ross. Like you need to be like a coffee's for fucking closers. Okay.
Yeah.
And like, I never really thrived in that environment. I didn't really do well. I'm not set up for corporate. I think people who are emotionally intelligent aren't because like half the shit you do is stupid.
Yeah.
Half the shit you do at school is stupid.
More than half, I think. Half is being generous.
Yeah.
I think more than half. Yeah.
You're standing in lines left and right. You're like, it's all the time is wasted.
Yeah.
You know, we need to do a book on the school system. I don't know how that would help anybody or us, but I just want to be right about everything.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I appreciated that he brought this into business. That's what I appreciated. You know, like this book is like directed at leaders. And then what I loved what he said was it's not only if you're a leader of a company, if you're a mother, you're a leader. If you're an older sibling, you're a leader. If you have a dog, you're a leader. You know, that was awesome.
Well, and I do think, like, I even pictured this going into my marriage. Like, because sometimes, like, if I'm, like, a really great relationship of any sort, whether it be a friendship, a lovership, it doesn't matter. Like, there are times when you need to lift somebody up, and there are times when they need to lift you up. And if you use all of these 12, 13, 12 and a half things, it's going to make you a better spouse. It's going to make you a better parent. It's going to make you a better, I don't care if you're at the fucking PTA. If you use all these, you come in with all of this, you're going to do better at whatever you're doing.
Yeah. And I loved his analogy because he used cooking as an analogy because these are the 12 ingredients. And he said, okay, if you're making cookies, which of the ingredients is most important, the flour or the sugar? He's like, they're all important. So all 12 of these are important. When you're cooking fish, which is more important?
I mean,
fish or the salt, you know,
you can leave the raisins out of the cookies. I mean, no.
Yeah, I like raisins.
I actually do too. I was just using them. I don't know why I put that out there. I wanted to push back, and I didn't have anything to push back on.
She used raisins.
I am pushing back now.
With the raisins.
Everything in this book I'm going to agree with. I'm going to attack raisins now.
Fuck those raisins.
Fuck those raisins, dude. Fuck you with your dried fucking grape.
Give me the wet grape. I don't want no dried ass raisins.
I don't know fucking rotten grape.
Shit.
Who the fuck tasted that for the first time? Like, it's ugly. It looks like a
Yeah,
bug.
it looks like a bug or a turd.
Yeah. But you know what?
"Ooh, this would be excellent in cookies."
A lot of stuff has probably come to fruition out of pure hunger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Foie gras.
Yeah.
Let me eat that liver.
Yeah. Okay. So there's 12 necessary emotional ingredients. Where have some of the missing ingredients fucked you up in your life? Have they ever? So
I mean,
out of the 12, like for me, lack of self-awareness. So he talks about this. He talks about self-awareness, like that delusional people lack awareness about their strengths, their weaknesses, their insecurities. Like they're not really aware. So I had total lack of self-awareness. I was offered the position of president for this company, right? I had no idea how to be a president.
Okay.
And I thought I could do this because, and this was also lack of humility, I wanted a business card that said president of the management board. That was my main motivation. And he talked about this. He's like, don't let that be your main motivation. Like, because he says a lot of these guys, he says a lot of these guys want to be entrepreneurs and CEOs, so that's why they do it. He's like, don't. And that's what I did. And I was in massive debt. I ran that company into the ground. Like, it was a shit show. And that was my lack of self-awareness and lack of humility. It messed me up.
well, I think at any given time, I've fucked up every single one of these really bad. But my number one to this day is patience. I was
going to say patience.
I was born without it.
Yeah.
And he was talking about when he gets to heaven, how I like missed this chapter in the book, or I forgot about it or whatever, but I'm going to use it all the time. Like whatever you are, like gets written on your chest in heaven. There must be something about that. He's Jewish, so it might be a Jewish thing.
Yeah.
But his is going to say patience. Mine's not going to say patience at all. Impatience.
I know. I have noticed that because, like, it's funny because now we've been working on, like, rebranding. You're like, when is it going to get done? When is it going to get done? And I'm like, it's going to get done. But I see I feel your impatience. But have you said that that's messed you up sometimes? Like, can you give an example?
Well, I think, like, thank God I'm working with you now. Let's do real time fuck ups here.
Yeah.
And why you should be like so amazing at surrounding yourself with people who really balance you, like I am, because I would say to our guys who are working on our branding, working on it, just give me something finished and I'll work with it. And it wouldn't be right. And it would be not what we wanted. And I'd probably become fucking resentful over it for the rest of my life. But no, I've got you, like, let's just make sure this is right. Let's get it out right the first time. Okay, do you, like, it sounds to me like you're not digging this or whatever you're saying to me. You're, like, asking me the questions to prompt, like, me. You're, like, I feel like you're the jockey. And I'm the racehorse, and you're holding me back until that door is ready to open, like till the perfect moment. Then we'll go. But it's so important to be self-aware and know that, okay, I know I got to listen to you when it comes to patience, because I know that's where I'm a shitburger there. Just don't have it.
Yeah.
So I think that's my still number one, but I could tell you a fucking horror story on every single level.
Yeah.
I mean, I've just been lucky enough to just have so many opportunities and fucked so much up.
Yeah. We learn at the speed of pain. So we move at the speed of pain, like these are all learning experiences. Like that bankruptcy and me being put massively into debt because of my ego. I don't give a shit about titles anymore. I really don't. And he talked about this, how people want titles so they look good on their LinkedIn. Yeah. I could give a shit about a title.
I'm having cards made for you that say is a and janitor underneath it.
And I'm happy with that. I don't care.
I am the janitor at home.
Yeah.
I like cleaning up. Do you know what Scarlett and I did, and my sister Katie? This is crazy. It's going to be crazy, but we were learning about merchandising and how important it is.
Yeah.
And we totally re-merchandised a whole aisle at Target the other day.
What?
Yeah. We just took it and made it all look so much better. And we took before pictures and after pictures. Yeah. It was because we were teaching her about how making things look nice really changes your emotional drive. It's branding, it's marketing. Yeah. It's, so we looked at it before and after, and it was so she was totally into it.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. It was fun. Fun. I would love to do that for a week, but I'm not tenacious all the time, so I wouldn't stick with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how about you? Well, I mean, what's your best out of the 12?
I think the best out of the 12 is optimism. I am completely optimist. So I'll read the definition that he gave of optimism. It's hopefulness and confidence about the future or the successful outcome of something. And I am an eternal optimist, and it annoys the shit out of Maciek because I'm like, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. And I am completely a total optimist. So I think that's probably my number one.
That is legit one of my favorite things about you. When I need to be lifted up, I come right to you, because sometimes life puts your dick in the dirt And you need that it's like your phone a friend. You're
Yeah.
that friend for my
Yeah.
optimism.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, and
love
he
that.
says in there that you should have a list of people that are your most optimistic people.
Yeah, he said to surround yourself by optimistic people and limit interactions with people who drag you down emotionally. So
You
that
got to block those bitches.
yeah, yeah,
Block 'em.
block it or bless it. Yeah, so I'm gonna block it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Block 'em.
And then I think empathy, like that's his big one, and that's I think my big one too. Like recognizing why people behave the way they do. You know, trying to see it from the other person's perspective. This has all come about since I've been in recovery because when I've gone through recovery, one of the processes is to try to see the other side, so you get rid of these resentments. So I think that's been something that I've cultivated,
Yeah.
and I think it's worked for me quite well. Yeah.
I think that for me, I think empathy is my superpower, and it's backed up by kindness.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I think empathy is my number one that I mean, I don't walk by a homeless person and I mean, I can understand at a glance how you can end up there.
Yeah.
I can see it. I can see it so clearly. I can see, I feel sorry for people that there's no reason to feel sorry for. Because I can almost like a hawk see what's gotten them there. It's like, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's like, and of course, like life has made me very self-aware. I think sometimes I'm too self-aware.
Yeah. You know your defects.
I know I'm big time.
That's good.
It makes me take accountability for a lot.
Yeah.
Like it's like Jason and I'll get in a fight, and at first I'm angry, and then I'm like, okay, that was like I go in and find my accountabilities because they're there.
You see your side of the street. Yeah. And it's funny because that you mentioned those two things, like the self-awareness and the accountability. He said all the ingredients kind of work together. So what you just said, like your self-awareness makes you accountable.
Extremely.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I
love
had this
that.
boss once, Heather Miklich. She was like
Yeah.
literally the best boss. She was amazing. But I don't know why she was so patient with me, but she like forced me into the fucking driver's seat and made me like be accountable. And like it was like the way that she led me was like, and we were friends outside of work, but she would not like let it go. And she made me a better person because of it. Like
Yeah.
why she put up with me. It was in my mid-20s, and let me tell you.
Yeah, I think self-awareness and accountability, he talks about it. It's super important. I think accountability it takes you out of the victim role. Like, I love what he said. You are responsible for everything that happens to you. And if you don't believe that, you got to change that. Because it's like you find yourself into situations, like your most recent situation even, with the situation. Like, there were red flags. That's what you have to take ownership of.
If you're not obsessed with us like you should be,
Right.
I just had a friendship like get demolished, and I had so many. I have so many regrets in it because I should have gotten out of the friendship immediately. I should have like saw the red flags and didn't, and it cost me a lot of time, a lot of emotional agony, and a lot of money. And it just, it was my fault, and I will not make that mistake again if I can possibly help it. I've learned so much out of this failed relationship to be a better person to myself and my family.
Yeah.
I mean, I really fucked it up.
And I love that you are not blaming 100% the other side, because it's easy to do, especially like with a narcissist. Like, it's real easy to do. But then I got to look at my side of the street. What have I done to stay in this relationship? I always here's one of my favorite metaphors. you're sitting in a beehive and you're getting repeatedly stung and you're getting mad at the bees.
Yeah. Well,
Get
and
out of the fucking hive.
our child was affected poorly by this relationship's demise.
Yeah.
And I think it was really important, like we sat her down and when we were telling her, like I said to her, Scarlett, Dad and I, we screwed up. We allowed you to be in this position. We messed up. And I'm sorry. I apologized for me and I didn't apologize for her, the friend. And I think that was like really important. Only apologize for yourself.
Yeah.
I didn't say, she acted the way she did. I don't know if she's sorry. I don't know if she's like what. I can't speak for her, but I can say I'm really, really, really sorry. And I've like just keep reminding myself, hey, we fuck up in life. We don't make the right decisions. We're blinded by whatever, whether it be love, whether it be ego, whether it be, wanting. It could be a good intention of any type, but taking the accountability that, okay, God, like dust off the knees, get up, you fucked up, move on.
Yeah. Amen.
Amen. Woo! Should we do a banter break?
Yeah, let's do a banter break, and we'll be back with talking about what our half is. Yeah, because as I mentioned, his half is the thing that he still needs to work on, the thing that we still need to work on. And we'll talk about the 12 ingredients in this podcast.
Thank you all for listening to the We Need Help podcast. We actually need your help. You can become a member of the We Need Help movement. Izza, can you tell us how?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's this really cool service called Patreon where you can support artists, people doing different projects, people like us. You basically go to the www.patreon, that's patreon.com/We Need Help podcast. And you can subscribe a monthly donation every month. Stipend, yeah, for just $1 a day. You would be helping us out greatly. And if you become a Patreon, you get access to exclusive content. You get a say in what we do because every month we're going to be picking somebody and they get to pick a book that we're going to review. So you actually have a bit of a say in the art that we produce, which is really cool.
And you get to go to heaven.
Yes. That's the number one thing. You get to go to heaven. So
if you don't do it, you're going to hell. But if you do it, you get eternal life.
How awesome is that? For just $1 a day, eternal life.
I mean, eternal life for $1 a day.
So again, we would really appreciate your support. It costs money to do this, by the way.
It costs money.
It does. Yeah, we were shocked. We're like, what?
But I do want to say thank you guys for listening, and we would appreciate any support you could give us.
Yeah, we just want to get better and we want to grow and we want you to grow with us. So that's awesome.
We have big plans.
We got some big plans. So please become a part. Log on to www.patreon.com/We Need Help podcast, written together. And Patreon is spelled patreon.com/We Need Help podcast. And then you just click on become a Patreon. You can do PayPal, you can do credit card, you can put it on whatever. We don't care how. Just do it. Just do it.
Thank you.
Thank you. We love you so much.
We love you.
Welcome back, everybody. Sorry, we were just having internet problems and we were like all stressed out about it, and our brows were like furrowed.
Your brow would be furrowed if it wasn't for the Botox.
No, my brow can furrow. Look at that.
Oh my God, your brow is stronger than Botox.
No, I haven't had it.
What?
I haven't had it in a while. Yeah,
I
need to get in there. I need to.
I can make a square on my brow. Check it out on YouTube.
I don't like when Jason can see my disappointment. It's not good. Because he is the type that, if he thinks he's disappointed me, then he lashes out at me.
That sounds very healthy.
It is. So if I just pretend I'm not disappointed, he's chill.
Yeah.
You know?
That's funny.
It's very healthy.
Ah, welcome back from the band break. Okay. 12
That
and a
was
half.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank you.
let's keep that up. Let's stay tuned for more of that. That was awesome. So let's go in. So he talks about these things, and then there's a half that is not you're still working on.
Yeah, so he has the 12 ingredients, which I'll rehash just to remind everybody: gratitude, self-awareness, accountability, optimism, empathy, kindness, tenacity, curiosity, patience, conviction, humility, and ambition. 12 essential ingredients, emotional ingredients. And then the half, because the book is 12 and a half, is the thing that you have to still work on. Like, so whatever that is for you.
Kind cancer, or kind blah, blah, blah.
Kind candor.
Candor. So like when you're real with somebody, but you're still kind.
Yeah, it's like honest, kind feedback.
Yeah.
So he used to he talked about this. He said he used to fire people and then not give them, or make it so unbearable that they would quit, which is how I would do all my past relationships.
Yeah.
Why won't he break up with me?
I was sleeping with his best friend in his bed while he was in it, and I just don't understand why he won't leave.
Yeah, and I could totally relate to him with this, because he said, I have a visceral reaction to confrontation, so I was very bad at giving critical feedback for most of my career.
I think I do. I'm not very good at the, people think I like candor because I am extremely real, but I need to get better at being kind in it and not being so sick while I'm doing it.
Yeah, I think what's very important for me with kind candor is I have to be in a position of neutrality. It can't come from the emotional place, because then it's criticism. It has to come from, I have to calm down and be neutral, and then I stick to the facts. I try to stick to the facts, because if I'm giving, feedback from an emotional, angry state, it's not good for either party. So.
Anybody. And it's not solution based.
Yeah.
Like, I can be Irish about a lot of things. We call it being Irish, like when you fly off the handle and stuff like that. But honestly, I do think I've gotten better with choosing my words and wanting everyone to win in it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times I think with the kind canter, or the canter, you can tell I'm around horses too much. That's wine. But with the candor, it shouldn't be aggressive. It should be solution based, right?
Yeah.
That's where I'm really just wanting to get to a solution at all times.
Yeah.
So, but I think if I could just get to a place where it didn't make me sick.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Yeah, he's this is a technique I learned in coaching about giving kind candor, is to sort of put it on the person that I'm coaching and saying, okay, what do you think went well? What do you think could have gone better? So it opens up the conversation to them saying what they think that could be improved. And that's always a really good one, because it's sort of an easy, and then, okay, are you open to some feedback? And then giving the feedback, rather than saying, you start, and then the person's automatically defensive. But if you allow them to say what they think that could have gone better, then it kind of opens the door a creak, and then you could step all the way in. So I really like that.
And I think it really is important, going into a conversation, if you realize that it's pointless, not going any further into it. If they're not open, or if you're not open, just having the awareness that somebody's not open in it, it's not the good time to have it.
Yeah.
With the kind canter.
Yeah.
But what's your half? What's something that you need to be better at?
Let's see.
Isa's good at everything, so
yeah, I'm pretty much perfect. I think it's conviction. Sometimes I don't stand my ground because I don't trust myself. So I let people like convince me that I'm not right. And so I think my half is conviction. Like I could be following what I think against the pushback. I have a hard time
Yeah.
with that sometimes. So I think that is something that I can work on, right? Because I have a
Yeah.
fear of what other people think of me. He said that he uses that a lot in here. We have this fear we
God.
want, and then that's where I have a conviction. Then somebody says, "Oh, I don't really agree with that," and I'm like, "Oh," and then I start doubting myself. It's that self doubt that creeps in. Yeah, so I think that's my half. How about you?
Yeah.
What's your half?
I mean, obviously I said the patience thing, and I think that
Patience,
the universe is forcing me into patience all the time, especially this year more than ever. Like it
There's
really
this-
wants me to feel it.
Yeah, there's this great
and
quote
understand it.
that's if you pray for patience, be prepared to wait.
Yeah. Which is why I gave up on it. I didn't want it. Like I never wanted patience. Like I really didn't, because I do think that within patience, it's the idea of suffering without getting upset. I don't want to suffer and not be upset by it. I want to
Yeah.
suffer, do something about it, and get over it and move on.
Yeah.
Like that is not, so like that's my Achilles heel. And if that is my Achilles heel, I guess like out of all of these things that I love, that's the one that I would just say I don't want. Is that a half? Is that like, I mean, I know that's my awareness is that I guess I don't respect that one as much as I do all these other ones.
It's not your favorite ingredient.
No. But it needs to happen. I know that it needs to happen.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh God, it's hard. I've quit praying for patience for sure.
But you do work at it. You do work at it.
I do work at it.
I think, again, we move at the speed of pain. So if there's enough pain that's generated from me not being patient, then I will say, okay, I'm open to maybe being more patient. I'm open to the pause. I'm open to.
But it says you're already suffering. You're already in pain. And Jason is the most patient man on earth. So I just felt like by marrying him, I kind of filled in that blank for both of us.
Yeah, let him be. You're patient enough for the both of us. So what about this podcast? Like out of the 12 ingredients, what do you think is our some of our key ingredients in our podcast? I think optimism for sure. Self-awareness. And I think tenacity, because we do this every friggin' week.
We
No
love
matter
it.
what.
And
Rain, snow, shine, tragedy, illness, COVID, whatever's happening, we're
doing it.
We show up.
I've been like on the streets of Puerto Rico doing it.
I've been at a little girl's room, which was our face episode, balancing a microphone on a baby chair and doing it.
God. So funny. So funny. Well, in so many things like gratitude, we are so grateful to be able to do it. Our self-awareness, we are actively becoming more self-aware every week in front of everybody. And we're like, which moves into humility. I mean, we rip on ourselves more than we rip on anyone else. It's like awesome. Like,
it's curiosity. We're like really curious about the books we're doing, and
we're
each
so
other.
Curious. Oh God, we're curious about like what makes like on everything. But I just did 5 sessions of cryotherapy because of this podcast.
Oh, how did that go? Like, tell us about it.
Okay, it was so incredible. It really is a game changer. It feels so good. You feel like you've worked out. In 3 minutes, you burn up to 600 calories. I don't believe in calories, but like if you do, there you go.
Yeah.
But like it sets off so many so many different endorphins and hormones. Look it up. It really is crazy. And then now I'm trying the infrared therapy. I can't remember what it's called, and I'll report back on that. But that's all my curiosity of what these things do. I'm curious about food. You're curious about food, but like, I don't know. I think that in all of this, like, curiosity is the whole reason that we were able to do this.
Yeah.
Is because we're just exploring ourselves and the world and each other and our souls and
ways to help, like, ourselves, each other, like others.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And conviction of doing it. Like, all we did was we wanted to do it. We weren't taking no for an answer, and I think we heard no from we've heard a lot of no's.
Yeah.
And we were so tenacious that we just finally said, okay, we're going to do it, and no matter what, we're going to record.
Yeah.
No matter what, we're going to do it.
Yeah, even if we haven't read the book, even if we're having a shitty week, no matter what, we show up. Yeah.
Yeah, we show up, and that is like one of my favorite. Would you call yourself tenacious?
Yeah.
I am too.
Yeah.
Like, I love it, like, when I want something, but if I don't have tenacity for something, it will not get done.
Yeah. He said the tenacity, the quality or fact of being very determination. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one of my favorite qualities in a person, too.
Yeah, me too. Fall down 7, get up 8. My favorite quote of all time.
Yes, and it's the best. Yes, so and then ambitious. Are you ambitious? I'm fucking ambitious. I love it. I want to succeed.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm ambitious. I'm ambitious to do things like this. I'm ambitious to do what I love. That's my ambition.
Yeah. I'm like, I have written down, what's your goal in this podcast?
My goal is to fucking sorry for the swearing. My goal is to just enjoy, like what he says, enjoy the journey. It's not even about the destination, but the goal is to really to get paid to be the funny friend. That's what we wanted. That's the goal.
Yeah. That's all we wanted to do, and to get better.
Yeah.
And better as human beings. Like, it's crazy. And he talks about it all the time. One of his shticks, and I love it, is that he wants to buy the New York Jets.
Yes. Yeah.
And like, he's got an entire millions of people hoping he buys the New York Jets. Like,
that's cool.
Who the hell has that? I want everyone to like, I want everyone to get better, like, or laugh because of us.
Yeah.
Like, either get better or laugh.
Yeah, and laugh at yourselves for a brief moment. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, celebrate the hell out of those failures, because at least you're trying.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So what are you taking out of this book? What's your takeaway?
Well, every now and then there's a book that comes along that like confirms that you're right about everything. So this is one of those books where I'm like, it just feels so good to like somebody to be on the same page as you.
Yeah.
So I feel so validated, like so validated. And I do wish like that we would all be more like Mr. V. I do. Yeah, I could read this book all the time. It really is a good one. Yeah. And it did, I don't know, because we just did the Narcissist Playbook before this. And then we did this, and there were parts in there where I kind of got punched in the stomach because one of his employees had stolen like $250,000 worth of wine from him.
Yeah.
And he was super empathetic and forgiving about it and kind about it, because they had been addicted to prescription drugs.
Yeah, the first question he asked himself was, what's going on in this person's life?
Yeah, and that is what I'm taking out of it. Like, don't be so angry because you don't really know the real situation in anything. You don't know the real situation in anything.
Yeah.
Because no matter what, even if you've walked in the exact same steps as the person, they're hiding things from you. They have shame that you don't know. And I'm like, I want to be better about that. And I want to kind of bask in that for a while. Mm-hmm. What are you taking from this beauty?
A couple things. First of all, he said in the book that don't read people just from the little bits you see in social media, because social media is small bites. So not to make assumptions, but to learn more about the person behind, which that really, that is also, I think, connected to patience a little bit and kindness, just to slow down and just see what's behind. Because you go to snap judgments. That's what these little bites on social media give you. And then, the conviction part, that half, I do want to work on it. So to not doubt myself so much. If I believe something, like my friend, she's like, you can't make money unless you're busting your ass from morning to night. And I'm thinking, I don't know if I believe that. I think I can, it's maybe true, but like, you can also make money in an enjoyable way. And that is one of my convictions. And I don't want to start doubting myself. So I'm going to work on sticking to my convictions and not being so pushed over by other people's opinions. So that's what I'm taking from this.
I love that. That's really, I've been working on this theory that like, we're so hard on each other for being judgmental. Mm-hmm. While simultaneously we're trying to tell each other to trust our own judgment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So should we judge or should we not judge? That is the question.
Well, judge, but like keep to your side of the street. You know what I'm saying? Like I can judge a situation for just not being for me, and that's okay. But not saying like, whatever, you're evil or you're a bad person, just kind of not that kind of snap judgment to where you're judging the person. Does that make sense?
I think I'll stay with just being judgmental and trusting it. And trusting it. Yeah. She's a piece of shit and I'm right because I'm trusting my judgment. On that note, you're going to see, like, you can see I'm such a Gemini because next week we are returning to love. I cannot love.
Wait. Bye.
Marianne can't remember her last name.
Well, after birth.
Okay, we're going to
Return to Love.
Yeah, look it up. It is a classic. It's incredible. It's just in time because I've been accused recently of the devil working through me.
Ooh.
I know. So we'll see. We'll see if it's true.
We need an old priest and a young priest.
Or if you simply have a robe and a collar, can you come quickly?
Yeah. The power of Christ compels you.
Compels you. Yeah. So we're going to do a return to love, and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite books.
Can't wait. All right. Well, I love you.
I love ya.
And remember, if you can't duck it, bucket.
Buckets. See you next Tuesday.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us. Rate and follow us if you like us. If you don't, please don't.
And come visit us at www.theweneedhelppodcast.com. There you can find show notes, links for books. You can join Audible, which is, how we actually read our books. We listen to them. And we have special exclusive content just for you. Also, feel free to subscribe to our Patreon account. That's where you can support us financially because we need it. And it can be anywhere from $1 to $100 billion a month, whatever you can afford. And the link to our Patreon account is www.patreon, and that's spelled patreon.com/We Need Help Podcast. And you can support us on there. We would really appreciate it because we do need help.
Awesome. And we will see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday. Thanks,
Bye.
loves. Bye.